Hey guys, the Midnight Rider's back here again. It's a beautiful rainy day here in Georgia, so I just figured I'd throw some thoughts at you real quick. Today's going to be a little bit different. Normally, I talk about how stupid men have become, and the emasculation of the American man. And I think today I'm going to actually focus a little bit more on how stupid women have become and the feminization of the American woman. To me, it goes hand in hand. Emasculated men is usually, it plays kind of hand in hand with feminized women. And I was watching The Handmaid's Tale last night. By the way, that is the dumbest fucking show I think I've ever seen. Whoever is the writer of that show should be kicked right in their fucking liberal twats. But anyway, my wife was asking me, she said, has something like this ever happened in the history of the world? And, a lot of people think that as societies progress and, technological advancements and all this kind of thing, that they think that, this really isn't possible. But I got to thinking about it, and there have been situations where societies have reverted. Iran comes to mind. Back in the 60s and 70s, Iran was actually a fairly, I wouldn't say liberal, but it was at least a moderate country. The women were out there in bikinis, smoking and joking and being whores just like other types of societies allow their women to be. And then, I don't know the exact date, I know it was sometime in the late 70s or something like that, mid 70s. I think it was the Ayatollah that came in or something like that and completely turned that entire country, reversed it, and really kind of formed almost like a totalitarian, dictatorship style of government where women were no longer allowed to do those kinds of things. And it's been kind of regressing really ever since. Now, when I was watching this Handmaid's Tale movie, or series, it just kind of brought that to my mind about how really I think there is a possibility of something like that happening. And the reason why I think it might happen is because women, it's like you give them an inch and they take a mile. You know what I mean? And the more freedoms and the more rights that women get, the more liberal and the more feminized a society becomes. All we got to do to understand this is look at Europe, right? To look and see how Europe has become such a pussified place, right? I mean, look at Germany. Angela Merkel, and I mean, she's been their their chancellor now for I don't know. It's got to be going on 20 years. It's got to be. I mean, if memory serves me right, I think I was in Germany from 2000 until 2007. And I think she was there sometime around 2001 or something like that, right when Germany switched over from the Deutschmark to the euro. So, you're talking 20 years of straight idiocracy while this, fucking stupid cousin of Adolf Hitler has run this country and, run that country into the ground. But, the point is that there's something to be said about societies that give women too much freedom. And first of all, to explain this a little bit better, because man, I get hit about this all the time, where women start yelling at me and, we have God-given rights and all this, and we've earned our freedom, right? They start talking about the 19th Amendment and all this stupid shit, and Woodrow Wilson, and how they earned their freedom, right? Well, so to start with, let me explain that in my best knowledge, I have never heard of a situation throughout the history of the human race where an army of women have risen up and fought against an army of men in order to earn their freedoms, right? It's never happened, and it never would happen because men would beat the fuck out of them, right? So basically, every freedom that a woman has been given to her by the men who were literally just tired of hearing them whine. That's what it comes down to. That's legit what it comes down to. There has never been a time in the history of the world where a woman has risen up and, physically taken the rights that they think that they deserve. usually that's how rights are given, right? Everyone talks about God-given rights, but the truth is that rights are something that when certain groups of people are tired of the tyrannical style that they're being forced to live under, they rise up and they fight for their rights, right? And like I said, the women's rights have never happened that way. They were given to them. Now, I'm not saying that that's a terrible thing. I'm not saying that women should be treated any differently than anybody else. I'm not saying that I want to see a country where women have to wear veils and all that kind of shit. But when you give people too many freedoms, when they don't have to earn them themselves, eventually they start taking everything for granted, and they don't really appreciate anything. And I think that that's really how a lot of women worldwide, I'm not just talking about America, I'm talking about European women. A lot of Asian countries are like this, hell, go talk to a girl in Brazil, man. They're more entitled than just about anybody out there, right? But this kind of all comes down to my point is there have been times in history where that system where women had plenty of rights has been reversed, and it could very well happen again. I think. Here's kind of another backstory too to this. The reason that I'm thinking about this is it actually kind of plays in hand with my episode that I made where I admitted that I'm a polygamist, right? Or that I practice modern polygyny, which is the practice of one man and multiple women. Now here again, I believe that men are biologically designed to be like this, right? I believe that most mammals on Earth practice this type of relationship system, and it's obviously for whatever reason, reproduction or whatever reason you want to claim it, but to me, men are biologically dispositioned to want to be with multiple women. And I can tell you that in my experience, especially here in Georgia, since I've been here, man, I really feel sorry for a lot of you single guys out there who have to deal with the retardation of these fucking stupid, dumb women. Let me say it like this. Okay, first of all, let's look at this statistic. I don't know where I saw this the other day, but it was I was reading in some life journal or something like that, and it says that from 2008 until 2018, so one decade, the American female population of single women by choice increased by 500,000 women, by 500,000 women. The voluntarily single population for women increased that much. That is insanity. In 10 years, women are choosing to be single because obviously they don't need a man. They want a man, right? And this is the mentality that single guys and guys like me that, whether you call it a guma or a side chick or, my fucking sister wives or however you want to describe them, the men out there who are trying to find available women, it's increasingly more and more difficult because women are choosing to make careers, they're choosing not to have kids, they're choosing to be single. And the whole purpose is because men aren't real men, right? And women aren't real women. Nobody understands their traditional roles anymore. And so it's creating one just big giant system of dumb fuckery where nobody is compatible with each other, and it's just crazy. It's crazy. It's even breaking up the nuclear family even more because less and less people are having kids, and when they do, less and less people are staying together. There's these women nowadays, they understand because of government programs and others. They don't need a man to raise their children. Hell, they don't even need a man to get pregnant anymore. All they got to do is go to a hospital and get that get that man juice shot up into them, and it's that easy, right? They don't even need to maintain a relationship with a man at all. And this is absolute insanity to me. This is crazy. This is completely destroying our civilization. And I'm telling you, it's going to come to a point. And it's not going to happen because of some conservative whack job. This is going to happen because of liberals, right? This is eventually going to happen because liberal people are going to get fed up with the fact that they can't reproduce because they can't find they can't find a partner anywhere out there. Liberal people are always the ones who turn everything into a tyrannical situation. I mean, shit, look at what's going on right now with all this vaccine passport shit. You got Alyssa Milano up there fucking screaming and hollering about, how people are fucked up for not wanting to take the vaccine. She'll be the first one to be up there advocating for a woman's right for abortion, right? All of a sudden it's her body, her choice. But man, when it comes to this vaccine shit, she ain't having that shit. It's no longer your body, your choice, right? So it's always liberals who revert. And that's kind of the thing that's fucked up about this Handmaid's Tale show, right? Is because in the show, they're portraying it like it was a conservative, like a religiously conservative group of people that decided to stand up against the liberals and fight and take back all their freedoms and shit. But it's actually the opposite way around. It's actually going to be the liberals who are going to do this in real life. And here again, I revert back to Iran in the 1970s. It's amazing that people don't even understand the history of this kind of thing. But I digress. Really, here again, there's so many things that are playing into this whole scenario, and I just don't understand these women that are so independent and so set in their ways that they're not even willing to have any companionship. I don't care if they're lesbians, I don't care what they are. They're choosing to stay single for their entire lives. They got their cats and they got their dogs. Statistics show, if you read the health journals, statistics show that people who are in committed relationships actually live longer, right? And we've got other factors going into here. We've got the sexual market value, right? A lot of these women don't understand that when they choose not to have kids, this decreases their sexual market value, right? They've only got a limited window of when they're even able to reproduce at all. And so if they choose not to do that, they are shutting their sexual market value down to a point where nobody is ever going to want to be with them. You got to figure if a woman is older than about 40 years old, if she's never had kids, she's basically worthless. She's basically, from that point on, she's basically just a cum dumpster. And that's if she can stay attractive enough to actually attract a male partner, let alone another female partner. But this is the point, is I'm sitting here trying to understand how women have become this, it's a psychological thing. They really are becoming almost, they're reverting back to just a crazy amount of feminism. It's stupid. It is absolutely ruining our society. And here again, everyone calls me, they say that I've got toxic masculinity for even talking about this shit. But man, what happened to the women who knew how to cook and clean, and they wanted to raise their kids, and they wanted to actually, contribute to the growth of the world? I look at it like this, and this is very simple. And here again, I get talked a lot of shit about this, but I look at it like this. We were all given life by somebody, right? Our parents, right? We were all given life. And we have a moral obligation to keep that cycle going, right? Whether you believe in God or whether you believe in science, Mother Nature, whatever the case may be, something put us here for a reason, and we owe it to return that favor. We owe it. That is our moral obligation to recreate life that we were given to begin with, right? It is our moral obligation to continue the cycle of this earth. And I think that here again, there's so many different elements to it. There's so much, women have become the way that they are because men have allowed this, right? We have allowed this to happen. We've even encouraged it, because by making women more independent, that means that men don't have to be so, they don't have to be so manly anymore, right? They can kick back on their lazy boys. They don't have to be the providers and the protectors anymore, because their women are out there damn doing it for them. So there's no, it makes sense why women have reverted into this role of this, almost more like the masculine, where they're not having kids and they're not needing men for anything. They're not needing to have relationships. And it's really sad. I mean, this is just really, really sad that we have allowed our society to become like this. The Handmaid's Tale is not a fiction thing in my mind. I mean, it is something that could absolutely happen. It is something that possibly might happen. And, you know, I go back to this word that has just ruined societies, equality, right? I mean, everyone talks about equality. Let me tell you all something. And this isn't just a rant. I mean, you guys need to think about this stuff that I'm saying. If you have to have a man-made law saying that you are equal to somebody else or something else, then it should be pretty damn obvious that you're not equal at all. Okay? It should be pretty damn obvious that somebody had to say, oh no, you two are both equal. I don't understand why so many people out there think that they need to be equal to everybody else. I don't want to be equal. I want to be uniquely individual. I don't want to be the same as everybody else. And you shouldn't either. You should want to be your own greatness. You should want to be your own giant. Don't be like everybody else. This word equality has completely fucked up societies around the world. And now we're on a new word. Now we're on equity. It's not even equality, it's equity. And I mean, this is absolute madness. This is absolute insanity that there's not enough smart people out there to understand the dangers of these simple words. I got news for everybody. Men and women are not equal. We have different abilities. We have different characteristics. All right, our bodies are different. Our brains are different, right? Women are emotional creatures. Men are physical creatures, right? This is what this is the way we are biologically designed, so that women don't eat their damn babies. Okay, and seriously, it all goes back to that whole reproduction thing and the whole, you know, women are nurturers. There's a reason for this, and you shouldn't want to change that. Because what you're doing is you're fucking up the entire damn ecosystem of the entire world. Not just for humans, you're fucking up everything. And I think that when women start to get their heads out of their asses, and they're not going to get their heads out of their asses until men start getting their heads out of their asses. And I don't know what's going to cause that, but I'll tell you what, The Handmaid's Tale is not too far off. As stupid as a show that is, it is not too damn far off. And I don't think that this is much of a rant as it is a warning. Okay, the traditional roles and the traditional values that you know people had back in the early 1900s and even before that, that's what created great societies. So think about that for a minute. Think about it. If that's what created great societies, then obviously what we're doing now is the opposite of that. It's going to destroy great societies. It's not rocket science. Right, 2 + 2 = 4, right? It's pretty fucking simple math. I think that, man, I truly feel sorry for all these women that choose to be single. These women that they say they don't need a man, they want a man. First, I'd recommend for y'all to go take a simple biology course. Because the last time I checked, women still needed men for at least that purpose. But furthermore than that, look at Iran. Look at some historical things that have happened. And it's not hard to see that, you know, these things happen when you give a woman an inch, she takes a mile. It really is that simple. I don't want to see women in veils. I don't want to see women who can't drive cars. I don't want to see any of that shit. But at the same hand, we have to rein in our responsibility as men, and we have to start being men again, and we have to start putting our foot down and saying enough is enough. Right? We have to stop allowing people to fucking ruin our entire human race, all because they think that they're equal, and all because they think that they deserve things that they really have never earned. Right? Now, when a woman can come up, you know, when an army of women can come up and beat an army of men, then that might be a different story, right? I mean, there's a few species out there where the women are the powerful, dominant, you know, side of the genders, right? But in the human race, that's just not how it goes. In the human race, men dominate. So it's time for us to start dominating again, We've allowed our psychology to overrule biology, and that's not how it works. Biology always wins. In the end, biology always wins. We have to start remembering how we became the great society that we are. And I'm telling you, all these people out there can blame it on whatever they want to blame it. They can blame Fox News or whatever the fuck they want to blame. But I'm telling you, if men don't start getting this kind of stuff under control, then we're done. There is no salvation for a weak society, right? Every society is only as strong as its weakest link. And when all of the men out there are the weakest link and the women are becoming the stronger link, that should be pretty damn evident that we're on a really quick downward spiral. So I want everybody to think about this. All you think about this too, ladies. Independent women die alone. Okay, independent women die alone. A real man doesn't want a strong, independent woman. I hate to get biblical on everybody, but in the Bible it talks about a woman, and her greatest power is her ability to submit. And that is a fact. That is because women are the fairer race, or the fairer gender, right? They are not the warriors. They are not the protectors and the providers. They are meant to nurture. They are meant to raise children. They are meant to take care of their men. It's not a degrading role. It's not something that you should be ashamed of. It's something that you should be very proud of, because that's what makes you different than men, right? Your ability not to eat your babies when you get hungry, right? You are not physical creatures. You are emotional creatures. It is the way that you are biologically designed. So stop trying to circumvent Mother Nature. Stop trying to circumvent God. Stop trying to be something that you're not. Because all you're doing is fucking up this society. Independent women die alone. Right? You might have your cats. You might have a whole bunch of platonic friends that you're leading on a constant basis. But here's the thing. Independent women die alone. And they die younger than women who are in long-lasting committed relationships. These aren't just opinions. These are facts. So, as always, I would love to hear from somebody. I'd love to debate this topic. When The Handmaid's Tale happens in real life, I'm telling you all, you're going to want specific types of men to be on your side. You're going to want warriors. You're going to want people with old-fashioned traditional values, because the conservative ones out there, right, the libertarian ones out there like myself, we are the ones that are going to ultimately be protecting you. That doesn't mean that you're going to be able to run around free like you are right now, but it's going to be a whole lot better than this girl that's in this Handmaid's Tale show. What happens to her, right? So think about all this stuff, and come at me real or don't come at me at all. Let's have a conversation and see what y'all can come up with. I'm going to be doing a couple more episodes, I'm sure, on this subject, and obviously polygyny and a few of other things that I like to talk about. But times are changing, and people better get on board or they're going to be left behind, I'm telling you. So look at Iran pre-1970s and you'll see it.